Who is the greatest football player of all time? It's a question that has sparked passionate debates for generations. The criteria for determining the greatest player often vary from person to person, and it's a discussion that evolves with time. In the modern era, the debate primarily revolves around two iconic players, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But when we look into each decade, we can highlight the standout players who left a mark on the sport during their respective eras. And in this video, we'll be looking at each player of the decade from the 1920s to the last decade. 1920s, Ricardo Zamora. The 1920s was big, and this was because it marked a crucial turning point in football evolution. While the sport had been played for decades before that, it was during this decade that it began to resemble the modern game we know today. Key rule changes, such as goalkeepers not being allowed to handle the ball outside the penalty area, and the 10-yard rule for defending free kicks, shaped the game. During this period, Ricardo Zamora emerged as a legend, particularly in Spain. Zamora, a gifted goalkeeper, started his career with Espanyol before enjoying stints with Barcelona and Real Madrid. His accomplishments included 2 league titles, 5 Spanish Cups, an Olympic silver medal, and 46 caps for the Spanish national team. His talents in the goalposts were so good that La Liga's Best Goalkeeper award is named the Zamora Trophy in his honour. 1930s, Giuseppe Meazza. The 1930s saw the rise of Giuseppe Meazza, an Italian sensation whose impact on the game still remains today. Meazza's legacy isn't just about his incredible skills or playing style, it lives on in the stadium named in his honour, shared by AC and Inter Milan. His versatile style allowed him to shine both as an out-and-out striker and an attacking midfielder. With 287 goals, Meazza remains Inter Milan's all-time leading scorer. He won 2 World Cups with Italy and secured 3 Italian championships, so he was rightfully the best footballer during the 30s. 1940s, Stanley Matthews. In the 1940s, England was graced by 2 exceptional talents, Tom Finney and Stanley Matthews. Stanley Matthews in particular stands out for his remarkable longevity and sportsmanship. Matthews played nearly 800 games during his career and holds the distinction of never receiving a single booking. For real! Great pace, tremendous dribbling, and over 50 caps for his country made him a true legend of the game. 1950s, Alfredo Di Stefano. The 1950s saw an explosion of football talent, from John Charles at Leeds to Fritz Walter at Kaiserslautern, and no 50s list would be complete without a mention of Just Fontaine, of course. But the true superpower of this era was a man in Spain, Alfredo Di Stefano. Real Madrid were the dominant force then, clinching 4 league titles and 4 consecutive European Cups. Lots of incredible players wore the white of the Los Blancos, and amidst these stars, Alfredo Di Stefano emerged as the standout player. Di Stefano played a pivotal role in Real Madrid's success during the 1950s and netted over 300 goals for the club. His versatility was also evident as he represented 3 different countries during his career, albeit only for Spain in the 1950s. 1960s, Pelé. The 1960s also witnessed the rise of footballing talent worldwide, with legendary names like Lev Yashin, Bobby Charlton, George Best, Garrincha, Eusebio, Frank Puskas, among others. But one name stood out: Brazilian legend Pelé. Often referred to as the iconic maestro, Pelé is an indispensable figure when discussing the footballing legends of the 1960s. Pelé stands as an enduring symbol of footballing excellence, captivating fans across the globe with his extraordinary skills, unmatched agility, and a goal-scoring prowess that remains unrivaled. His impact on the sport is nothing short of legendary. His contributions to the Brazilian national team during this era was monumental, with standout performances that secured the country's victory in the 1962 FIFA World Cup. 8 years later, in 1970, Pelé orchestrated yet another triumph on the world stage. Pelé's mesmerising dribbling, breathtaking goals, and playmaking vision made him a complete package, a footballer whose influence extended far beyond his scoring ability. 1970s, Johan Cruyff. The 1970s, like the previous 2 decades, featured an array of top-class talent, including Hugo Sanchez, Teofilo Cubillas, Falcao, Rivelino, Ruud Krol, Sepp Maier, and Franz Beckenbauer. But Johan Cruyff, a player that needs no introduction, stood head and shoulders above them all. His elegant style, visionary play, and role in the Dutch total football era under Rinus Michels set him apart. Cruyff's impact was felt both at Ajax and Barcelona, and he earned 3 European Footballer of the Year awards. His legacy lives on as Dutch giants Ajax named their stadium after him. 1980s, Diego Maradona. Another man who needs no introduction is Argentine legend Diego Maradona. Like previous decades, the 1980s also showcased an abundance of talent, with Maradona reigning supreme. He played for Boca Juniors and Barcelona, but it was at Napoli that perhaps his greatest talents were on display most regularly, as well as for his national team of Argentina, of course. Maradona's dazzling displays at Napoli, including his iconic goal of the century, solidified his status as one of the greatest players of all time. His influence extended to his national team, leading Argentina to victory in the 1986 World Cup, while other legends like Michel Platini, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, and Kenny Dalglish shone brightly. Maradona's genius was unparalleled. 1990s, Ronaldo de Lima. The 1990s saw Italian football's dominance as the Serie A was the top league, with stars like Paolo Maldini, Roberto Baggio, and George Weah. But the 90s, though, belonged to the Brazilian forward Ronaldo, who boasted an impressive career record, having scored a remarkable 296 goals in 452 matches. Winning 3 FIFA World Player of the Year awards and 2 Ballon d'Or trophies. Notably, he clinched his first Ballon d'Or at the age of 21, making him the youngest recipient of this prestigious award. Ronaldo's abilities on the pitch was evident during his stints with Barcelona and Inter Milan. He led Brazil to the 1998 World Cup final and later secured their 5th World Cup title in 2002 by scoring 8 goals in the tournament. Ronaldo's career trajectory saw him join Real Madrid during the club's Galactico era. He stayed at Santiago Bernabeu for an impressive 5 years, during which he secured a La Liga title, marking the longest tenure at a single club throughout his career. Before his injuries, Ronaldo was probably the undisputed best player in the world. However, post-injury, discussions emerged, including comparisons between Ronaldo and players like Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry, and Andriy Shevchenko for the title of the best striker. Diego Maradona himself once acknowledged that had Ronaldo not suffered those career-altering injuries, the likes of Maradona and Pelé would pale in comparison to Ronaldo's greatness. 2000s, Zinedine Zidane. Okay, there's probably no argument on this one, as Zinedine Zidane's 5-year tenure at Real Madrid defined the 2000s. His impeccable poise, vision and control made him a true maestro on the field. He was the king of his own game. Incredible poise, vision and accuracy of passing and sublime control made Zidane peerless in the most recently past decade, with perhaps only Ronaldinho able to even closely compare to him. Zidane moved from Juventus to Real back in 2001, and in his 5 years in Spain picked up a haul of medals, including a Champions League, a Spanish League title, and another FIFA World Player of the Year award, his 3rd overall. The French midfielder also won a European Championship while he was with Real, to go alongside the World Cup he won in 1998. But his career ended on a less than perfect note in the 2006 World Cup. He was sent off in the final instead of winning it. 2010s, Lionel Messi. The 2010s witnessed the rivalry between 2 footballing titans, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, and it was nothing like we've ever seen in the entire history of football. While both are exceptional and outstanding footballers, Messi's pure talent and consistency probably edge him as the standout player of the decade. With Barcelona, he secured multiple league titles and Champions League trophies. Messi's 5 Ballon d'Or awards in that decade and all-time leading goalscorer status for Barcelona clearly show his dominance. Not to mention that he won the Ballon d'Or before and after the turn of the decade, so there was only going to be one name at the top of the podium. So there you have it, the players of the decade from the 1920s onwards. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please drop a like and leave your comments below. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.